everyone, and welcome. If you've ever worked in SAP Materials Management, I bet you've stared at a purchase order and wondered where on earth a certain piece of text came from. Well, today, we're going to solve that mystery. We're pulling back the curtain to show you exactly how to master PO texts. Let's get right into it. So let me guess, you've been there, right? You create a purchase order, you're ready to send it to your vendor, and wait a minute, that's the wrong instruction on it. It's super frustrating, and it feels completely random. But what if I told you it's not random at all? That's right, there's no guesswork here. SAP is a machine, and it's following a very, very specific rulebook. Our mission today is to decode that logic for you so you can take control and make sure the right text shows up every single time. Let's start with the basics. Okay, first things first. Before we can get into the rules, we have to understand the two main players on the field. We're talking about the two fundamental types of text you'll find in any purchasing document. The difference is actually pretty simple. Think of header texts as applying to the entire document. This is your big picture stuff, like the general terms and conditions that apply to the whole order. On the other hand, item texts are laser-focused. They only apply to one single line item. So if you have a special delivery instruction just for that one material on a huge PO, that's an item text. Getting this global versus specific difference is really the first step. All right, now for the main event. This is the secret sauce, the logic we've been talking about. Let's pull back the curtain and look at the actual rulebook SAP uses to decide which text gets printed. The very first rule you need to know is called printing priority. You can think of it like a VIP list for your texts. A text with printing priority 1 is the most important, and SAP is always going to check for it first. Priority 2 is next in line, then 3, and so on. It's simple. The lower the number, the higher the priority. So here's how that priority rule plays out in the real world for a material PO text. Step 1. When you're creating a PO, maybe an ME21N, SAP first looks for any text you typed in directly on that specific purchase order line item. That's always priority number 1. Now, if it finds text there, great, the search is over. But if that field is blank, it moves to step 2. It goes and checks the material master record, what you maintain in MM02, to see if there's a default PO text waiting there. It's a really clear top-down search, from the most specific place to the more general one. And this brings us to the single most important rule to burn into your memory. Once SAP finds a text, its search is over. Done. It takes the very first one it finds based on that priority, and it completely ignores everything else. It won't try to combine texts or look for a better one. The first one it finds wins. That's it. And this whole first one wins logic also applies to another setting called print sequence. A good way to think about this is like creating different sections or chapters in your document, maybe shipping instructions or quality notes. You could have several different texts that could all fall under shipping. SAP will look at that group, use the same printing priority rule to pick the highest priority text it finds within that group, print it, and then move on to the next section. Okay, so now that we've got the core logic down, let's just quickly touch on a couple of other tools in your toolkit that give you even more control over what your final documents look like. So the actual layout of your PO, where the logo goes, where the columns are, that's all controlled by a form. SAP has a few different technologies for this. There's the classic, old-school SAP script, which you'll still see everywhere. Then there's the more graphical smart forms. And of course, the modern, super flexible Adobe PDF forms. Your technical team will be using one of these to design the actual document that gets sent out. Now listen up, because here's a pro tip that could save you a massive headache down the road. Never, and I mean ever, change the standard forms that SAP delivers out of the box. If you do, a future system upgrade could just come along and completely wipe out all of your hard work. The only safe way to do it is to copy the standard form, give it a new name, usually starting with a Z, and then make all your changes to that copy. Trust me, it ensures your custom layouts are safe. And what's really cool is that this powerful logic isn't just for creating the PO in the first place. You can also use it for PO changes. You can configure the system to automatically slap a specific note onto the output whenever a key field, like quantity or delivery date, is changed. It's a great way to keep your vendors in the loop. So let's bring it all together. That frustrating problem of the wrong text showing up on your purchase order, it's not a mystery anymore. You now have the rulebook. Let's just quickly recap the key takeaways. So what have we learned? Well, first, SAP follows a strict hierarchy. It's all about priority and sequence. Second, for material texts specifically, it always looks at the PO item before it looks at the material master. Third, and this is the big one, it prints only the first text it finds. And finally, the best part is that all of this is configurable in customizing. You are totally in the driver's seat. So the next time you see a text issue on a PO, you're not going to be frustrated. You're going to know exactly why it's happening and exactly how to fix it. This logic is now yours to command. So the only question left is, now that you actually control the output, what are you going to build with it? Hey everyone, and